Hi there, folks. I wanted to give a quick update on this because I had a few questions about it on various posts that I've made prior, and I hope this would actually shed a little light on it. A number of people had asked me what was going on with the odd cutout in one section of my layout, and I explained that I was doing a dropped off section, which is going to be eventually part of a kind of small river, canyon, gorge sort of thing. And so this morning I actually had a few minutes. I cut off the panel that goes from underneath that will support the scenery, and it is screwed in. I'm going to see if I can get a shot of the underside of it any. Let's see. Okay. All right, so there's two screws in the front and two in the back that are holding the panel to the framework, and that gives me a kind of nice little notched out area for doing the scene. And the other question I got, I don't remember who it was, I apologize, but I did get a question, where's all the foam and your base for it? I hadn't gotten to it yet. But I did today, at least to get started, just to kind of test out some stuff. And I know there's a lot of people who use Woodland Scenics risers. If you've never actually heard of that or haven't taken a look at that, they're a wonderful idea. I like the concept. The only problem is they're really expensive. And if you're a HO or O scale person, they're great because they're 2.5 inches wide per section. It's kind of a little wide for N scale, and some people are like, oh, well, that means you can almost put two whole track sections on there. Yeah, but there's a lot of place on my layout where I don't need that. So what I did is I went to Home Depot and I picked up a sheet of the Owens Corning extruded foam, the insulating foam, and it was about $35 for a sheet of that. That's half of it. The other half is still in my car. But a few people have told me that they've used this approach before, and I like it too. And so I just kind of wanted to point it back out. I know probably there are a lot of people out there that do know this trick, but some of you might not. And so I just took a hot knife, and I actually have the one from Woodland Scenics. But I took a hot knife and just kind of cut out what I needed to start supporting the roadbed. And this was more or less a test. And as you can see here, for where the curved area is, I even notched it in several places so I could bend it a little bit. It's not going to bend quite as well as the stuff from Woodland Scenics because that is specifically made in that way. But it does do a nice job, and this kind of illustrates the point. So now you can see I have this whole section in here, and there's going to be a little bit more. I just put that up so you can see the general layout for it. Obviously, I want to support these joints. I'm not going to be leaving that free floating, but I just wanted to get kind of a sense of how that was going to come out. And then, of course, afterwards I'll be able to fill in a couple of spots into my little canyonade area here with some foam and some of the other sculpting related materials that are out there, and the plaster cloth. That is something I am going to buy from Woodland Scenics, is their plaster cloth, because I have used it before and I love it. And it's a little bit expensive too, but I actually prefer working with that over paper mache. But anyway, so you can see how I'm planning to do this, and I've got a lot of track to do. So this is going to take me a little while, but the cost savings to do it this way for me is worth it, and it's kind of nice break from what I normally do, which is a lot of computer work. So it's nice to kind of get away from that and just do something that is simple and creative. Anyway, so that's it. I'm going to just take this section and start with this for now. And I've got some other stuff to do today, so that'll be it pretty much. But I wanted to demonstrate how I'm taking the approach to doing this. Hopefully it'll shed some light on it, and if you guys can see my approach to it, it might give you some ideas for how some of you might like to approach it as you build layouts as well. So again, styrofoam cut out with a hot knife, foam wire cutter, whatever you want to call it, and it does the job extremely well. And then just to attach it to the board, I'm just using a typical glue gun. And I know some people are like, oh, but that'll melt the stuff. And no, it's on there solid, and it didn't melt my foam. You can see there's a bead of it that I used along there, and didn't melt anything. So Now you have to watch that stuff, which temperatures you're using and all that, but I'd say that's pretty effective stuff. You know, and you can see I just did little beads there, and once again, it's pretty solidly in place, enough that, you know, it'll hold until I can do the plaster cloth work. So that's it for today. That's all I have for now. And as I go through this process, if there's any little ideas or hints that I pick up along the way, I'll definitely share them. One thing I did want to say, a lot of people think, well, what about all those little notched out pieces? You can see I have a pile of them over here that I cut out from the track. What am I supposed to do with all that? It seems like waste. It's not. You can use it to fill in these sections on your lathe as you go. Don't throw away stuff like that, just assuming that it's not going to do any good. Wait till you've really kind of had it for a while, and then, you know, you can get rid of it at that point. But I mean, you never know when an inch or two of foam, or even just a little block like that, may not have some value to your scenic. So don't just automatically assume, oh, you know, this piece is so tiny, I'm going to get rid of it. There may be times when you need just a little bit of a shim, and that's really worth having. All right, so that's it for today, and I will talk to you later.